film and digital.
Lovely, naughty pine environment.
And that is a washer and dryer back there, but we need that for professional reasons. We've been working together for 20 years, and we've been really focusing on the past couple of years on how to use video to really communicate for business, for nonprofits,
foundations,
particularly, yeah.
And as things have changed and videos get shorter and shorter and technology gets better and better, you're going to be able to learn how to do this. So it's going to improve your communication as well. Video is, it's king now. And there's study after study that shows that people retain more when they watch a video, retain more content than often when they are.
Can I just make a note? Somebody has their audio unmuted. Please mute your audio. It'll help prevent that feedback.
Yes, and for those on your phones, please be sure to mute yourself. I believe it's *66.
Okay, Chris.
Okay. What we want to do, enough about us for now, is we want to learn who's here, and we'd like to go around and have you temporarily unmute your microphone so that you can say who you are, what team you're with, because we understand we have 5 teams signed up for this webinar, what team you're with, and then a little bit more, like what experience do you have with video, if any?
And I'd like to hear kind of what you when you signed up for this thing, what were you thinking you might be using your video for? What might be what you're looking to get from this class?
Your burning desire and what you're going to be able to produce and put out to the world. So I don't know, Sarah, if you have thoughts about who we should start with, if it should be alphabetical, top to bottom. I know I see DCLS there, and I wonder if you'll say who you are and answer our little questions.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Thank you. This is Crystal Barrett. I think a lot of the other people from DCLS who intended to be on this call are currently in a newborn screening advisory committee meeting right this moment. So anticipate being on future calls. But at the moment, this is Crystal Barrett, and I am the Laboratory Systems Improvement and Training Manager for the laboratory at DCLS, the state lab. And I missed what the answer was because I just, so.
Have you got any experience with shooting video, and have you thought about how you might want to use video for your work?
Okay, so very small experience shooting video ourselves. We have done some really quick demos using cell phones, and that's about it, because we were just snippeting them into, maybe a 20-second total demo inside of like an articulate type e-learning program, for delivery to via web, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it demos such an excellent use of video. Well, we're glad you're here, Crystal. I think I saw earlier an Emily, and I wondered if that was the Emily from your group too.
It could possibly be. She may be joined from her office instead of the main room.
Is there an Emily there who could unmute and talk to us? Okay, I've hallucinated yet again. Those were the days. Who else is there anybody else from DC on then? I'm taking it not. Then how about somebody from North Dakota?
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can see you too. That's great.
So my name is Joelle Meyer, and I'm the Newborn Screening Program Director for North Dakota. So my partner Amy is not able to attend today, but hopefully she'll be on the next call. And so we have used video training as far as taking some Media 101 training with our PIO, our Public Information Officer from the Department of Health. And I'm working at home today, so if you see my kids in the background, that's why.
That was great.
So we've done that, and then we've also created some videos with some families to share their story about newborn screening and how it impacted their family. We didn't do them ourselves. We worked with CAT Communications out of Bismarck, and they developed the videos, but we took what was like a 3 to 4 minute video, condensed them down to some 30-second clips and 45-second clips. So we're just kind of looking to see maybe if we can use some of these opportunities to take our cell phones into different hospitals and get some different training ideas for education, maybe do some shots of families, and I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. So
Yeah. Oh, great, Joel.
The possibilities are just about endless. Yeah.
And I think, NewSTEPs had done a video. You guys did, I can't remember how long ago we saw that. So I've been intrigued since then. So I'm really excited to be on this call. So
great.
Well, great.
That was our video.
And we did that with a cell phone. So that's
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good.
So that's wonderful. Joel, welcome. And we'll look forward to meeting Amy next time around.
Thank you.
I think there might be somebody on here from Tennessee too. Maybe Amanda? I swear that I saw Amanda. If you are there, unmute. All right, perhaps she had to step away.
Reminder to everybody, if you are calling in on your phone, I may have muted you because we were getting feedback. So to unmute yourself, you hit *6 on your phone.
Excellent.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Amanda Ingram, and I'm the director for the Tennessee Newborn Screening Follow-Up Program. I'm not going to actually be participating. I have a nurse educator, Hillary Fryman, that will be heading the team, along with Jamie Clark, that will also be helping her. Hillary was not able to be on the call today. She's doing a site visit. And so I'm kind of listening in and just trying to get information so that I can fill her back in. I know she's planning on watching the recording later.
Yeah, they make sure everybody knows there will be a recording available. So anybody in your team who wants to catch up with you, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, Sarah's recording it now. And there are also going to be some individual little videos that we're going to show within each session, and those will also be independently accessible in addition. So great.
Okay,
glad you're here and you can.
Go ahead.
Sorry,
I do have Jamie Clark on the call, and she probably has a little more background with video. I have none.
Is Jamie on?
Is Jamie there?
Hi, this is Jamie. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hi, yes, I'm Jamie Clark, and I'll be working with Hillary, our nurse educator. And I know she's on the call, but she just can't get herself off of mute. But so my background is graphic design, and I worked for a real estate company, and I did all of the marketing and advertising, and familiar with videos and all of that. So looking forward to helping our program, figure out what we can do to further educate. And work with families and so forth. So we're excited about this, definitely.
Great. And have you had experience making any video yourself?
Just a little bit on the iPhones, but definitely wanting to expand, knowledge and with the different programs that you have lined up, and software, the editing software, definitely looking forward to really learning that. So
okay. Great. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Jamie.
Sorry, and real quick, Emily is on the call. I had her on mute, so I'm going to unmute Emily for her to introduce herself from Virginia.
Hey guys, this is Emily. Just want to let you guys know that I was on the call and I am calling from my office for this particular one. I'm the Data and IT Support Group Manager here at DCLS, work along, with Crystal on some projects. Don't have any specific video experience other than just, what I've kind of done with my own kids and things, but really hoping to just gain knowledge and experience and a better understanding to see if we can't do some enhancements to our own website here at DCLS and just improve our own products that we try to use for education.
Great.
Awesome.
We're confident you'll be able to do that. We are. I wonder who might be on from California 1 or California 2.
There's 2 Californians now?
There's 2 California teams.
Yeah. There'd be some people who'd say that was a good idea. Do you know who's on, Sarah?
Yes, hi. Can you hear us? This is Barbara. This is Barbara Ferreira, and I'm with Resi Janus-Guenther. We're from Harbor, UCLA. We are the Southern California team. The Northern California team that is comprised of Robin Thomas and Jorge Palacio. They are not on the call today. So they have more experience with making some small videos. We are interested in making some YouTube videos that we can either put on our website or we can put out to our facilities in regards to midwife collection in particular. So we want to look at, so in Southern California, we're going to look at the midwife collection, and Northern California, they're going to look at hospital collection to minimize our number of inadequates and to still focus on the timing of collection and transit issues. And I personally do not have any experience with videos from my cell phone, just except mistakes when I've pressed the wrong button trying to take a photo. And I'll introduce you to Rusty Jane. And
I'm Rusty. I have little experience with, excuse us, there's a helicopter above us.
That's LA.
so
I have little experience with video making, but I'm really looking forward to learning more knowledge about how to take the videos, to the next level. And I enjoy being creative, so looking forward to all of these webinars.
That's great.
Welcome.
That's great.
So, Ressie is very creative, and we are trying something new. We are actually at the California Endowment, which is right next door to the Union Station in Los Angeles, at a PACLAC meeting, a Perinatal Advisory Council meeting, where we have a table. So we are trying to, be available to people, and I think that's one of the most important things related to any of this video education and whatnot, is having your information available when people are ready to receive it. So whether it's a YouTube video that the moms can pull up on the phone, or we're at a meeting where we're trying to visit with professionals who are at an educational symposium, then that's kind of what we're all about.
Yeah.
Anyhow, thank you so much. We're so excited to be part.
Good. Well, bite-sized videos. We have all heard all the stories about how our attention spans are shrinking astronomically, and bite-sized videos, you can get out a couple of pieces of information per video, and you just build. You have multiple videos that way. You build a brand, you build awareness. So yeah, there's lots of potential here. We're excited for you guys. Is there anybody we've missed?
Virginia, we got Virginia.
We got Virginia. That's everybody, don't you think, Sarah? Since Northern California team isn't on today?
Yep, I think that's everyone.
Okay. Well, welcome everybody. We love the California part. We're from Denver, but we met in California. And so hearing that background noise, it just takes me right back. Ah, yes. So we are going to talk about not only, our company we've already talked about. We're going to talk about the fact that probably a few of us feel like we're practically born with a smartphone in our hands, but there's way more to making a video with your phone than meets the eye. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to try to take you way beyond a selfie. And there are three main things that will help you get beyond a selfie.
Well, one of the things that I'm sure you're all aware of, and one of we've become tolerant of it, but many homemade videos I suffer from shakiness. It's almost disorienting at times, because it's not steady the way that we're used to watching a video or a film on television. So that's one of the things that we're going to really try to address. And one of the things that we think will elevate your normal video up to our idea of this top-notch video.
Bad lighting is another thing that's problematic. We're not advocating that you're going to take lighting gear around with you. You need to learn how to work with the lighting that you've got, whether it's in a conference room with fluorescent light, or whether you're in a room with a lot of windows and you don't want to have problems from having too much light or too much light in the wrong position.
And learning how to realize what restrictions or things that happen with your camera in certain lighting conditions, how if you just make slight adjustments, you can make it work, make any kind of lighting situation work for you.
Yeah. And sound. Being an old radio person, or I'm sorry, former radio person, sound is a big deal for me. And you hear some video, audio that sounds like it's done in the girls' bathroom back in high school, and it echoes and it's horrible and it's distracting. And well, the point of all of this is to take away the distractions so you can focus on the information, the message, the persuasion.
So basically, we're talking about the strong communication that video allows us, and it really doesn't matter about the tools. If you, let me get.
I mean, you can have a bazillion-dollar camera and he is constantly.
You know, that's one that I wanted to talk to you about.
No, honey,
possibly
a later
buying.
time. No, you can have a fancy camera like this, or you can have this, and the basics are the same. Just remember that the basics are the same.
I know.
And you're telling a story with words, obviously, and you're still telling a story with pictures. And we'll talk about maybe adding some music in there too, and some extra visuals. So we're going to play you a video now that was shot on a cell phone. It's not about newborn screening. I have an Etsy site with a friend of mine. This is my friend Dia. She does stained glass. And we just wanted to show you all the different kinds of things that you can do with a cell phone video. This includes all the elements that we're going to be talking about. The fact that it's about stained glass, you can just kind of compartmentalize that for a little bit and see Dia talk about her business.
I love the creating and the designing part. I find inspiration in beautiful Colorado. I love the Southwest and nature. I love to make unique personalized gifts, so Superman logos or housewarming gifts or gifts for weddings or gifts in memory of somebody. So the process, after I design it, I cut out the pattern, I cut out the glass, and then you have to grind each piece and then so that it fits in a frame, and then you have to clean each piece, wrap it in copper foil, put it all back together like a puzzle, and then start your soldering. Once the soldering's done, you may put it in a frame or just put some chain on it. And it takes a lot of time, but it's a lot of love that goes into each piece. And that's why I'm here on Etsy. I want to offer you just what you're looking for. I want to create something special and unique for you. I want to make you smile, create a little surprise, and offer you original art. Thanks for shopping.
So we know it's kind of weird to show you something about stained glass in this class, but it had the elements. It had Dia in front of a camera. It had her with some good lighting. We'll have a little video before on how she chose her location and got decent lighting with natural light. It showed B-roll, which is the extra video.
That's kind of the professional term. You'll hear it tossed around, but that's all the shots of her working on the stained glass, the graphics, all those things are considered B-roll, which take it away from the talking head, which although it can be informational, it's kind of the basis of what you can do with video. The more that you can add other visuals for interest, the much better it is.
Yeah, and we'll go into how to find good B-roll, even if it's not a subject that's visually fascinating. There are all kinds of tricks that we can use. So that's an idea of the kinds of things that you could end up with, albeit about newborn screening, by the time we finish. So here are the goals for the class, and then we'll get into the story thing. We're going to talk about gear of the day and the basic structure of storytelling.
And how to shoot and edit on a simple single-person video on your phone. In fact, that's going to be our first assignment after next week. That'll be your assignment. But it's amazing that we can actually shoot and edit on our phone a quick little video like this, which is perfect for a fast communication, some breaking news or a more simple message that you want to get out. This will be something that you can basically use those tools and have something the quality of what you just saw, Dia.
So we'll talk about shooting and editing next week in the simple single person video. A couple of weeks later, we're going to expand your shooting and editing skills by talking about interviews, how to do interviews, including Skype interviews, and extra visuals, and how to edit those into a piece to make it more visually interesting and therefore engaging.
We have a bonus section, which is we've actually purchased a program called Premiere Elements, which is what you will use for editing on your computer. But we're also going to have an app, which is the KineMaster, that will you can edit on your phone. But we're going to have a bonus session which will go in more depth on editing on your computer, which is very handy when you're doing more complex type videos.
Okay, so just to be clear, we'll go over this again, but KineMaster we'll use the first couple of times, and then if you want to learn about the computer editing, that'll be great too. And then a final session, which is you'll have 4 weeks between the expanding shooting and editing skills class and the Learn from Each Other videos. Our final session is we'll be sharing the videos that we've made and learning from each other, the experience and the results.
Yep.
And that's a really fun one.
Oh, let's talk about the 3 stages of video.
Let's talk
well,
about
since the slide is up and everything.
Okay.
Okay, I wonder what they are.
Why, I believe that the first stage of making a video is pre-production.
Now that's before.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
And you'll actually be able to probably do a little pre-production even between now and next week.
What's next?
That would be production.
Wow,
that would
really
be shooting.
Makes sense, doesn't
that
it?
finding the location,
Yeah.
actually setting the camera up, doing an interview, doing a single person video where someone presents a material to the camera. It's dare I say, the really fun part.
Well, although we're kind of making light about this pre-production and production, really the more that you can put some time up front in planning what you're about to shoot, the better your results are going to be. Gone are the days when you can just walk out and shoot, just take your phone and go shoot something. The more that you can think about what you're trying to do and how you're going to approach it and how you're going to actually execute it, the better it's going to be. And I can't wait to see what's next.
I can't imagine.
Oh, it's post-production.
Post-production. Now, the world knows this as editing, but now that you're going to be a video person, you're going to know it as post. In fact, that's a noun and a verb. I'm in post, or I'm going to post something different than posting on Facebook.
It's really cool when you tell your friends, I'm in post now, so I'm on video.
So those are the 3 stages. We're going to be talking about all of them, but we're going to start with pre-production now, and that is figuring out what story you're going to tell and what structure that story is going to take.
And basically what we're about to go over, although we're putting in a certain context here, it is a basic structure that has time immemorial, from the caveman telling the story back to Steven Spielberg and Dia's video even. They all have a certain structure that if you are aware of and think about, it'll make sense.
That's right. It's the 3-act structure that we started with board books when we were little, and then comics. And do they still do fan fiction?
Not for me.
Okay. Well, our daughter's 30, so we don't know about fan fiction anymore. It's the 3 structure, which begins with
once upon a time. This is the establishing, telling your story. This sets them up. This is the beginning of where you pique their interest. You grab them. If you have a weak beginning, you can lose people, especially in the world where we're used to viewing a video in 1 minute, and our temptation is to hit delete.
If it doesn't grab you within 5 seconds, you'll move on to the next thing. And attention getting is a key element to your setup for that very reason. And so it's going to be something besides. Today we're going to talk about. Right. You need to find something a little bit more interesting. It's a quote, it's a question, it's a statement, it's an outrageous statement, but it begins and sets up your story.
Man. So in the middle is then an interesting thing happened. This is the middle of your video where you really build your case, but there's a temptation to try to fill up that basket with the 20 things that you want to talk about. It's really better to be able to pare down your messages to at the most a handful of topics that you're going to
2 or 3
and
points.
And especially if you can really create a video that communicates and gives something memorable, and people will walk away from that video with 2 or 3 things that they actually remember. That's an extremely valuable video.
So the slide says confrontation. That's often what happens in a play or a film or a book, that there's a confrontation that has to be overcome. But this is just the body, and the interesting body that explains what you've set up in the beginning.
And then finally, the resolution. We lived happily ever after. And for our purposes, our resolution most of the time, or many times, will be our call to action. What we are actually asking the viewer to do, whether it's for them to take action, even for them to consider something, or that's the purpose of the call to action.
Like if we just are working on a video on midwives and NBS2, but call to action at the end of a piece on midwives would be to encourage them to actually do newborn screening at home and send it in a timely manner. That you get the drift. You know about call to action.
Okay, so let's think about our this is thinking in general terms about what you might be wanting to do coming up during this class. We're not asking for you to have answers for these things right now, but start considering what you might do. First of all, what is the story that you might be telling? What's the burning desire that you might be able to use for this class for us to start off our first exercises? What might you be able to tell?
You know, we didn't talk about doing this before, but I wonder if all right this minute, if there's anybody in our group today that already has a really good idea of a story that they want to tell. Can you see our participants list that way?
I can't.
Oh, okay. If there was somebody who would like to pop up and say, I know California, you're going to do something on midwives. You want to talk a little bit about a story that you have in mind that you want to tell?
Okay, this is Barbara. So the story would be that midwives can collect the newborn screen at home.
Okay, an
Good.
excellent story, and
we're very aware of that.
Yeah, we're very aware. We've been working on that too. So we think that's a great idea, naturally. Others who have an idea already of a story you might want to tell. Okay, we're in the formation stages.
Right.
So what's the story you want to tell? Now, it's not just the subject matter. You're going to think about other things. What's your intention for telling this story? In the midwives, they want to convince more midwives to do collect and do newborn screening at home. So it's probably informative and persuasive at the same time. What do you want to accomplish by someone watching this video? It may just be awareness. It may just be awareness of your brand. It may just be awareness that newborn screening exists, or it can be advocacy for that you would go before the legislature. And I'm getting ahead of myself.
Well, along with attention, I almost think of it almost as a tight wire that we walk. Wherever you are in the process, if you can check in, am I being true to the intention that I want to talk about? Am I drifting off into too many figures or whatever? What's my intention? If it's to persuade, I always want to stay on that tight wire of this is my intention for this video.
Likewise, as I just started to talk about, who's your audience? Do you want the legislature to require that labs stay open on Saturdays?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Besides that, if it's for the legislature, it's going to be focused in a certain way. If it's to parents, the call to action would be for them to contact their legislators. If it's to labs, it would have a slightly different bent, slightly different angle. So you want to think about who your audience is, and sometimes you'll have more than one audience, and you might do a couple of versions of something.
One of those things that audience will also drive the kind of language that you use and the length of the video. If it's something that's really more informative, you can afford to have it be a little longer, 3 to 5 minutes. If it's a single person, it would be something that you would put on YouTube. You'd want it a minute long. The language would be different. There'd be less facts. It'd be more of emotional appeal.
If that would be to like parents.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
yeah, it affects length and angle and direction.
And this is a fun part that since you get to work in teams, think about who's going to tell the story. At first, we're talking about within your team, who might be running the camera, who's going to be doing the on-camera piece. Who are the jobs that are about to be done. And we also encourage you also to give a chance of everybody trying all these things.
Yeah.
So everybody has a chance. But think about who's going to tell the story. And this also includes if you might be able to include an interview with somebody outside of your exact team, who might be the person to really be able to tell that story and tell it well. And that's the thing that we've learned in the past, that although somebody may have all the knowledge, they may not be able to tell a story. They're very shy or reticent.
Or uber talkative.
Yeah.
And can't say anything simple in under 2 minutes.
That's like, never mind.
Never mind.
Okay. All right. So the next thing, who will do what to create your video? You've got that.
Okay. So we're going to move on to the gear now. Now, I don't know where everybody is in terms of, hopefully everybody's ordered. I don't know if purchasing departments have approved all these things, if they've arrived, but we're going to still give you an idea of what's in the package and what are the benefits of all these pieces.
Well, this first part isn't even, you should have this.
Yeah, this is not in the package. You better have a phone.
Well, and I'm going to just make a pitch here, Chris. I know you're not a big fan of getting brand new equipment as soon as it comes out.
Every time we turn around.
I try.
He does try.
But if you have a phone that's like 2 or 3 years old, and you've been thinking about getting a new phone, this might be the time, because they're continually upgrading the capabilities of the cameras on these phones. And
this is what I live with all the time. He wants the newest version of everything. A phone that's a couple of years old will work, Steve. It will work.
Right. So next we're so here, as we said, one of our pet peeves is listening to videos that are made by people who haven't got the equipment to be able to put a good microphone on.
Yeah, they shoot with their phone camera, and they're 6 feet away, and the person is either yelling or it's just not well heard.
You've all heard that. So this is a great start to being able to have good, clear audio. It's a lavalier mic that you can actually hide, or if you want to, you can make it visible. But it runs with a cable from you to the camera. We've also included in your list of equipment a 20-foot cable because this only has like a 4-foot cord on it.
And you don't want to be that close to the camera. But it's terrific. Later on, you might want to get a wireless microphone. They are definitely more expensive. So we're starting here.
All right. Next, what is that?
Why, I believe everyone on Earth knows that that's a tripod, Steve.
Yeah, but what do they call it?
A 3 legs. Okay.
And pod?
You know, he can't help it. He's a parent. That, you know, if you were children, you'd be rolling your eyes too. So it's a tripod. It's for steady shots.
Yeah, really. You'll use this tripod a lot, especially if you're, for instance, if you're at a conference. Put it on a tripod and get a good, steady, establishing shot. Use this for your single-person video for sure. When you're doing interviews, for sure. So it's a really important thing, and you're going to need this next little deal. This is a little clip that hooks onto your tripod that clips your phone in correctly.
Okay, lingo. Establishing shot. We'll just throw this in now. Establishing shot is a shot that shows where something is happening. So it could, if it's a conference, it's the outside of the building that has the marquee that says so-and-so is meeting here today, or it's the big conference room, but it establishes where you are.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that later. Okay, now this is real fun.
This is Steve's favorite thing on Earth.
Well, close it. The drone is...
Oh, no, we're not doing
going to get
drones.
Okay,
this is his second favorite thing. This is called a gimbal.
Well, we all watch movies, and we feel like we're there. We're pulled into a story because the camera is moving just as we move, as our interest moves. It moves around people, and it's smooth as can be, which is different from the old handheld cameras, which has usually when you see handheld in a movie, it's a sign of tension. But this is you'll be able to use this to get our B-roll, our visuals that help tell your story.
They started out as what were called Steadicams, and maybe you've seen pictures of them. They're still used in some places. They're huge pieces of gear that wrap around the cameraman's body with an arm at an angle like this that holds the camera, and so that they can walk behind or around someone that they're filming and get a steady shot. This is handheld. This costs, what, just around $100 bucks.
Well, the perfect thing about this is that the phone is perfect for this kind of equipment. I have one just like that I use a lot of times with my phone to shoot B-roll for our productions because it's so easy and unobtrusive. I have one for one of my larger cameras, but if I can get away with it, I'll use this kind of the small gimbal.
Well, you can, because your camera shoots 4K, which is the highest quality footage available right now to the world. And yeah, he uses this a lot in all of our productions.
And we have a little video coming up which will show you just the basics of how to get it set up and try it for the first time. Sometimes it's intimidating to pull this thing out and you're going, what does it do? But we'll show you a little video coming up. And this is an app called Filmic Pro, and this will go on either an Android or a iPhone.
This is your friend. This is a brilliant little piece of.
Well, your camera basically has when it within your phone, you're not able to control the exposure and the focus as easily as you can in Filmic Pro. And one of the things that we'll show in a video that's coming up in just a second is how, with using Filmic Pro and just a little thought about the natural light that's in your room, you can really create a more beautiful shot that helps tell your story.
So it's good for lighting and it's good for focus. It's a wonderful thing. And then we finally move on to the really exciting part. This is, they say, the magic happens in the editing room. These are two different editing programs. K is for KineMaster, and that's the one that you can edit on your phone.
I tell you, I love being able to shoot something quickly and just, it stays in my phone. I fire up KineMaster. I put a dissolve from black at the beginning. I put a little graphic at the end with my either my our logo or whatever, and then I can put it up on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, all within my phone, and get it out within 10, 15 minutes.
No, we don't want you to think that you're going to be able to do this instantly, because he's kind of been around for a while, but it is it is a pretty darned easy thing to learn and quite intuitive. So that'll be your phone editing system. Adobe Premiere Elements is a desktop editing system, a little more, it has a few more features than KineMaster does, and that's the bonus class that we will be giving.
Right. Okay, what's up next here? Oh, okay. Let me click out of this.
We are going to show you now a little video that he did that talks about how to use Filmic Pro after he talks a little bit about the strengths and weaknesses of shooting with a phone at all.
Here we go.
Let's start with the strengths and the weaknesses of your typical digital phone. First of all, it's always with you. It's easy to use. Generally, great picture and great sound. It's an awesome point-and-shoot camera. But because it is intended for uses with your family, pictures, or videos, it presents some weaknesses that we need to address. Let's start with picture. The way it gives you good exposure is to average every scene into capturing the middle range between dark and light. Not too much washed out overexposure, not too much darkness. And in most circumstances, it does a pretty good job. A wide-angle lens keeps almost everything in focus, and many cameras even recognize when a face is present and adjust for optimal focus and exposure. But because it is designed to keep everything in the middle range, it sometimes makes bad choices. Watch, for instance, if I frame out the brightness of this window, my shot looks pretty good. But if I include the window even a little, the camera tries to compensate for that brightness and it shuts down the exposure, which makes our friend Dia look like she's sitting in the dark. Sound can also be a problem if you rely on the built-in microphone. And some people even begin to feel a little seasick from some shaky handheld videos. So to elevate our footage to top-notch smartphone videos, let's take on those common problems one at a time. First, there's a valuable app in our recommended equipment package called Filmic Pro. It's available for iOS as well as Android phones, and when you fire it up, it'll look something like this. This gives you all the exposure and focus control you'll ever need. But first things first, let's set up our video recording settings. Now, I'm just going to go over this enough to get you started so you can produce some useful footage, but I suggest you take some time to go through all of these settings and familiarize yourself with the possibilities. Shoot at your highest available resolution. If your phone can only shoot HD or 1080p footage, then that's what you choose here. I'm setting mine for a resolution at 4K, 16:9 aspect ratio, which is the aspect ratio or shape of most modern TVs. I also choose Filmic Quality, which has a really nice efficient codec. That's how the software captures and compresses the footage. My frame rate is 30 frames per second, or FPS. Playback is the same. Audio is set for PCM at 48 kilohertz. And as I said, there are many adjustments available in Filmic Pro. YouTube has many useful videos to satisfy your curiosity, but for now, I just want to keep it simple. This is the main screen, and these are the controls you'll be using most, and really the main reason for using Filmic Pro at all. This round circle is how you set and lock your exposure. It's very helpful to get the best exposure on your subject like this. I'm now looking to get the best exposure on the subject's face. And with the tap, the circle turns red and the exposure is locked and remains the same no matter where you point the camera. This is important for this kind of situation and essential when you're panning like this. Now this little box controls focus in the very same way that the circle controls exposure. Tap it and it's locked. We'll be learning a lot more about composition and camera techniques later on, but first I wanted to point out this simple little device. It's part of our package. It's a clip that attaches your phone to a tripod. This little device alone will help separate you from most selfie videographers. It's essential for most interviews and one-person self-made videos. We call this step one for making top-notch videos.
So as we said before, these little videos that we've done that show things will be available. Sarah's going to post them, or we're going to post, somebody's going to post them, so the little videos will be available. So if not all of your team is here today, you can take a look at them. And
we had a chat. Yes, it's spelled Filmic, F-I-L-M-I-C-P-R-O, Pro, 2 words.
Okay. So this is an introduction, and you can take a look at it again when you have the rest of your team. And Steve also, now with his new look of new glasses and a beard, has made a little video about using the gimbal, because it kind of feels funny in your hands when you first get it. So check this out.
Okay, let's talk about really getting the most out of this camera, and in particular using this new tool, a gimbal. I'm sure you've all noticed in many movies those great smooth moves that the camera's able to walk around a person and it's completely smooth. Well, that's basically what we're going to be able to get with this tool. This used to be a very expensive piece of equipment. Now there's really no reason not to have it. It's going to improve the quality of your video 100%. Let's start with your phone. I always take mine out of the case just because you really don't need that extra weight on your gimbal. So I always think of this button here on the right side. I always think of that, I want to keep that to my right. That's the main control button on my phone. In the same way, on my gimbal, this motor right here, I always want to keep that on my right side as well. So I'm going to try to line up the right side of my camera, put it in that clip, pull it around. Now I'm going to push it in as far as I can so that it goes up and meets this little motor. And I want to keep that right in the center. See how this little lines up with that. Okay, now this isn't exactly balanced, but the reason is because I have a larger phone. It's a iPhone 8 Plus. So in order to make that balance a little bit better, there's an adjustment back here on the gimbal, and I'm going to actually extend this arm to make it more even and balance the phone better. Now it doesn't exactly snap to even, but you'll see in a second it will. Now your gimbal may be different, look different, there may be more controls on it. We're just going through the basics here to get you started and get you out shooting some good video. But the first thing is to find the power button. It's this red button there, and I'm going to push it and it's going to snap to life. Now it's orienting itself square with the horizon, which gives you great steady shots, and this will really improve your handheld video. Let's talk about a couple of the features and the buttons on the gimbal itself. Yours may be slightly different from mine, but all will have this kind of a main button, which is mostly I use for tilt. You notice if you push it up, the camera moves up. Push it down that way, it moves down. Now, let's talk about the modes that'll come with your gimbal. Most likely it'll start up on what is known as one mode, which is basically your follow mode. That means that when the gimbal is oriented like this and you rotate your hand, your wrist like that, it'll follow your pan, which is your movement of the camera from left to right, from side to side. Now, your gimbal will come with an app that you can put on your phone, and within that, your app, you'll be able to have a lot of control over your phone and the gimbal straight from that app. But I would like us to really focus, especially for this class, on just using the gimbal basic on and off switch from the gimbal, and we're going to use the camera control with our Filmic Pro app, which is a great app that you'll really enjoy. First, I'm going to start up my camera here. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to find Filmic Pro, that cool app, and I just started it up, and there's my picture. Now, one thing I want you to really try to work on is always keep your gimbal oriented straight up and down like this, not like this, where it's more sideways. When you try to move it, it just can't do it. It won't be able to move. So try to get used to being able to hold it straight up and down. Now, this is a very important button. Don't forget it. I have at times, you may at times. Press that. That means we're recording. And at that point, I'm able to get nice, smooth moves.
Gosh, we sure have a lot in our studio. This really shows up. We have a garage that has never had a car in it. That's our studio. And obviously a lot of storage. So again, this will be available for you to take a look at when you actually get your gimbal and take it out of the pack. Well, you have to charge it up first.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Make sure you take it out and charge it before you actually try playing with it.
Okay. Lingo. Tilt means up and down.
Yes. Tilt.
Pan means right, side to side.
Okay. Well, thank you. I wasn't able to see if there are any chats. If there are any chats, let me see. Let me look over here.
Oh,
Yes,
Charles says, are the videos stored on the Filmic Pro app and then or on your phone?
They are stored in Filmic Pro, and that's the way that you'll actually be able to find them on your phone. We'll be covering this coming up, but you'll be able to go into Filmic Pro if you're on an iPhone, for instance, and a Mac computer. You'll be able to go into your iTunes and then find the Filmic Pro folder and bring it out onto your computer. The same thing works with an Android. It's stored within the Filmic Pro app.
How about getting it to KineMaster? Which is what they're going to use at the beginning.
Within KineMaster, you'll be able to start up KineMaster and then look within your Filmic Pro folder in order to get the video that you want to edit.
So this is an introduction today only. We do want you to play with the gear as soon as you get it. Because it does take practice. Oh my gosh, it does take practice. But it's very doable. So play with your gear, and we think that you might want to think between now and next time what story you might tell in a single person video. Here are some questions you might use to brainstorm what story you might tell. If I was meeting with a client, I would ask things like this. What is the number one question people ask you about newborn screening? What is the number one misconception about newborn screening? Who needs to understand newborn screening? Who doesn't? Mm-hmm. What stakeholders are clueless? What do you wish people knew about newborn screening? What do you wish legislators knew? What do you wish your hospital board knew? What do you wish the guys or the people who drive, who pick up the sample and take them to the lab know? All the different players in the newborn screening stream. What do you wish they would know or know more about? So these are questions that might help you figure out, this is what I want to tell about in my first in my first video.
Yeah, and again, think about that intention idea. What do I want them to do once they watch this video? So think about intention, that tightrope that you want to keep walking all the way through.
And who's your audience, once again, is another thing you want to think about, which will help you make several decisions. We're going to probably encourage you to do your first single person video, which you will do after next week's session. A minute and a half or so, and we'll be teaching you some simple ways to get into the video, get out of the video, maybe a very simple graphic to say that it's called a lower third because it goes in the lower third of the screen, your title, the name of the person and the title, some very simple editing that you can get this out into the world.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. What we want you to do now is just gather the equipment, just take it out of the box, and then go out and play. And I'm sure that we might have some questions here, so I'm going to stop sharing here. And let's see if there's any chats in the chat room.
Or any questions. What's the best place to purchase the gear? Is there a package deal somewhere?
Well, we sent out, I believe we sent out a list that had links to where you can get your video, all the equipment, all the gear. Amazon, some of them are Amazon, some of them are a company in New York called B&H that has quick delivery and good customer service. But if you have any questions about that, contact Sarah or anybody from the...
There's not a package that we are aware of.
Yeah.
In other words, they're individually purchased items.
Yeah.
Other questions? Because we're just about out of time. Questions, ideas, inspirations? Or it's time to go to lunch.
Oh, good. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. I'm really excited to be able to share this with you guys. I think it's really, you'll find that it's challenging, but it can be really fun. And it's especially fun when, down the line, somebody's going to come up to you and say, that video that you made really made a difference for us. And that's what we're shooting for.
That's right. So in between now and next week, if you have any questions about what we've done today, give either Sarah a holler or give us an email shout, and we'd be glad to get back to you.
So Sarah, is there anything else that we need to deal with?
Nope. I don't think there's anything else. I will be sending out a link to the videos soon.
Okay. Great. And we hope you all have a chance to share this with your teammates, and we will really be off and running next week.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks,
y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.